Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with this, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And finally, it's most people's favorite. This is application, where we take the past concepts from other live lessons and we see how they apply to an actual, real song that already exists. And since there's like 1,000 different ways to play any song, you're just going to work on the version that is appropriate for your level. So that might just mean playing one note at a time for right now. Or maybe you're working on chords or covering the full song. Or maybe you're just seeing how the song breaks down so you can better write and transcribe your own songs in the future. But whatever your level is, the goal is not this song. So even if you don't play the whole entire song, you'll get better by even attempting a little bit of it, and attempt it we shall. That's the one we're doing today. So you'll be able to do that before you know it. My name is Jamin. You're at LearnPianoLive.com. And first, before we do the song, let me introduce you to the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what, Jamin? I got to go to La Selva Beach. I think it was last week. And it was amazing.
La Selva.
Yeah.
Cool. That's next to
It's Santa
the
Cruz
water.
and Mon. Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
The
I don't know any of the
water.
beach- There's like a billion beaches.
It's true.
That's
Yeah.
the way a coast works, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
well,
it was very cool.
that's
It was
awesome.
So fun.
La Selva.
La Selva.
Okay. Selva. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now,
Yeah.
near you said Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. There's a lot of awesome beaches there. I'm glad you had fun.
Oh, thank you. It was wonderful.
And we're going to do a nice, lovely song here right now. We're going to start off with an F. Now, before we get too far into this, let me point out a couple things you're going to need to know in order to be able to read this. First of all, completely ignore all the stuff at the top. All those ones that are written in, those are just distracting you. Those are for like the intermediate and advanced levels, where that's what like the chords would be or whatever. All you really care about is the dots with the letters in them. So if you're a beginner, then just pay attention to that. That's an F because it says F. This one right here is an E flat because it says E flat. I'm going to show you where all those notes are here in just a second. The only other thing you really need to know is, well, I guess if you see something that's not got a letter in it, then don't play a letter. That's called a rest. So don't worry about that one. This one is tricky though. There's a lot of these in this song. These big swoopy lines right here connect two notes. They actually tie them together. So it looks like there's an F and then there's an F, but there's not. There's actually just one big F right there. So that swoopy line is called a tie. It ties those two notes together. So these are just one big E flat. And I don't think there are any situations in here where there's three notes tied together, because that's really super tricky. But you do have to watch out for guys like this, where there's a tie there from that note to the next line right there. So those are actually tied together. So that G, you can tell, is part, like it doesn't get played on its own. It's part of the G before. It's tied to the one before it. Okay, so now we know what ties are, and we know what rests are. We know we're just looking for the letter names. Let's find the letter names. This one's going to be an F. We're going to play that while we say the word looks. We're going to say it out loud, even though I think 100% of adults don't like saying the words out loud because you feel like you got to sing them. If you can sing them, that's great. If you can't sing them, just say them. But do something with your mouth here while you play the F. Now, the F is a note that's below a group of three black notes. So you find any group of three like that, and the note right below it, the white note, is going to be an F every single time. Any group of three black notes, the note right below it is going to be an F. Which is the right one to start with for this song, though, it doesn't really matter. Try them all out. I played some of them, some of my Fs up here, I played some of my Fs up here. I might have even played some of my Fs down to here. As long as you follow the directions. After you start on an F, I'll probably use this one right here. Just follow the directions of the music up and down. I'll show you how to do that. For example, this F, we can already tell that's gonna be the same exact F as that one. So don't play that F right there at the beginning and then play a different F way higher or way lower later on. Just kind of stick with one of them, and if you don't like it, then next time you come back, try a different F. I'm going to try that one right there, and I'm going to say out loud, looks. Cool. We've got one note down. We only have 3 trillion to go. Fortunately, a lot of these are going to repeat here, so we're actually doing just fine. We have an F. We're saying looks out loud while we play that, and then we want an E is going to be the like, the word like. So we're saying like, we're playing E. Now, because of the way the alphabet works, E's and F's are right next to each other. You probably, I don't know, unless you've done a lot of alphabetizing, the E, F, G usually get kind of mixed up in people's brains, but an F is right next to an E. By the way, after a G, after this one, G is just going to start back over again because there's only 7 letters in the entire musical alphabet. So it just goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts back over again. A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G. Okay, cool. So we got an F, and then we got an E, but it's a lie because this symbol right here, that little, if I could zoom in more, it would look to me like a half of a heart on a string. That's kind of depressing, makes you feel sad, low. That's what you're supposed to do with the note. Don't play the E, play the one that's slightly sadder, slightly lower, slightly more to the left. This note right here is called an E flat. So it's not really an E, it's an E flat because it's got that symbol on it. E flat is different from an E. Don't play an E. We're gonna play the F and say looks. We're gonna play the E flat and say like. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to speed up significantly in how quickly we're going through these notes. The B flat is going to be this note right here, the note that's slightly below B. If you need me to slow down, then you could just probably pause the video and just catch up after you have practiced whatever section you need to. Or, yeah, you can ask me about it too. We can work on it one-on-one. But looks like we. That's the beginning of it. Big jump from like to we. And then back up to the F. Made it is E flat. So those three notes make up the entire first phrase. Looks like we made it. And actually it's gonna make up a lot of the other phrases as well. So those three notes, looks like we made it. If we play that along with the track, just remember that at the beginning you have a little pause. So I'm gonna actually say pause right there at the beginning, and then we're gonna try that phrase. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Looks like we made it. Yeah, let's try that one more time. So your track is 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Looks like we made it. It's a pretty short pause. But after that, we're gonna play a bunch of E flats. Look how far we've come. That's F and G. That's that G we talked about earlier. Look how far we've come. My baby. Just watch out for those ties. I think that's gonna probably be the trickiest part of this because there's so many ties in there. It looks like you're supposed to play a lot more notes than you're actually supposed to play. Look how far we've come, my baby. This second line is gonna do pretty much the exact same thing. We might have took the long way. So we got one B flat at the beginning. Other than that, it's the exact same thing we played at the top. We might have took the long way. We knew we'd get there someday. Is all of these notes right here. C, E flat, F, G, F, E flat, F. So those ones right there. We knew we'd get there someday. And if you're trying to play along and at the beginning you were doing great and you were feeling awesome, and now you're a little bit behind and you're feeling like maybe piano's not for you, then good news. Piano's for you. That's the way humans feel when we play piano is, yeah, we get a couple wins and then it takes some practice. It should take some practice. So if it takes some practice, that's cool. Then what I'd recommend is practice. So we knew we'd get there someday. That's the end of the second line. And then we're on to the third line. We're going to jump way up. Let me show you why. Currently, we're on an F on the word day. That's on the top line. Okay, so let's take a look at this next thing right here. We're on an F, which is on the top line. So you can see we're supposed to go up to a B flat. So don't go down to a B flat. And this is the thing I was talking about at the beginning where like you can pick any F you want to start with, but then from there you got to make sure you follow the directions up and down. You can't just pick any octave you want after that. So from the F we have to go up to B flat, to that B flat, not the one that's an octave below that. So we're gonna go up to B flat and then down to G and say out loud, they said. Cool. And then we're gonna do the same thing, B flat, but instead of landing on a G, we're gonna go down to E flat, I'll bet. So let me zoom out a little bit and show you how far we've come so far. We're on the third line. They'll never make it. That's all the same notes that we played on We Knew We'd Get There. So the exact same phrase, we knew we'd get there, is they'll never make it. And then but is a B flat. Now this B flat right here is not, let me see if I can get both of these in the same shot. That's the high B flat. And I was like, make sure you go up to that one. Don't play the low one. But this one right here, you can see for the word but, that's gonna be significantly lower than the high B flat. So that one actually is the lower one. But just, that's an A flat, from B flat to an A flat. Look at, and this again right here, make sure you're going from a G up to an E flat because it can be tempting to go from a G down to an E flat because it's just sitting right there. Like you're on a G, you're looking for an E flat, it's so convenient. But the song goes, look at, otherwise it's not gonna sound right. Back down to the G, us, and then A flat up to the F. So there's a lot of jumping around in this section right here. Look at us holding on. Lands on a D. We're still together. Oh man, we're still together. Still holding on. That's kind of the same phrase. Those two, look at us holding on. Still together, still holding on. Okay, cool. Oh, they're both holding on. She rhymed holding on with holding on. It's a pretty song. I'll forgive it. All right. Now we're on to the chorus. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. So this thing right here, that phrase right there is going to be really important for this chorus. Still the one I run to, the one that I belong. This right here is called a sequence. It's where you take the exact same phrase, some note, G, and then in this case, the pattern is go down 4 times for a total of 5 notes. And then we're going to sequence that by just moving it over 1 note. Start at A flat, do the exact same thing. Down, 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 down. And then come back and do the first one again. So it's that phrase, that phrase, that phrase. We got a couple notes in between to connect them, but that's the basic idea. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. And then we repeat the whole entire thing. By the way, over here, if you go in the archives, we're going to have 2 dots right there. That's a repeat sign. And Kendra, if you would make note of that, that'd be great. We'll throw that in for the archives. That means go back to the other double dots that you saw earlier. So if you saw these right here and you were confused by those, congratulations, because most people wouldn't have noticed those at all. But that is a repeat sign. It's letting you know in the future, we're going to send you back to that point. So you're going to play all the way through the whole thing, get to that, and have to come back and play that entire section again. So both of these lines get played twice. That's why there's 2 sets of lyrics. This line right here is for the first time through, and this set of lyrics is what you would sing the second time through, or say if you don't want to sing it. So you follow the top line the first time, the bottom line the second time. And let's talk about those connecting notes, and that will be it for us on the beginner level at least. So your is going to be an E flat. So your, still the one I run, and then to the. So these 3 notes right here are the 3 notes that kind of connect the 2 sequences. To the one that I belong, and then to is going to be right there, G and E flat. To your, still the one I want. And then for life is going to be F and D. I feel like we had an F and a D. Oh, it was back up here on that other sequence part where we were playing that thing. That's also a sequence. We had the F, D right there. There we go. That's the F, D. So that little phrase comes back here at the end. For life, and also good night on the second time through. All right, if that seemed confusing, that's reasonable. If you've never played any songs before, or only played 5 or 10 or 20 songs before, and that's confusing, that's reasonable. Just do the notes that make sense to you, and then try to add in 1 note to it. Don't go from the top of the song to the bottom of the song. By the time you get to the bottom of the song, your muscle memory hasn't really kicked in at all. Your brain doesn't remember any of the notes that you played. You just took a whole lot of time to play a whole bunch of notes and didn't really accomplish a whole lot. So what I'd recommend is take the section that's easy for you, even if that's just 1 note. Play that, and then try to add 1 note to it, and go until that's easy for you, and then try to add in 1 more note and 1 more note. You're going to end up playing the beginning of the song a billion trillion times, but at least that way you're actually making some progress in memorizing it, as opposed to just grinding through the whole thing. It takes you half an hour, and you still can't play any of the song at the end of it. So anyway, take it slow, but I'm not going to. I'm going to play the whole thing at full speed, so you can come back when you've learned a little bit more of it and play along with me. Let's go. 1, 2, ready. And actually, there's a little intro thing. Here we go. And then it starts right here. Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. We might have took the long way. We knew we'd get there someday. They said, I'll bet they'll never make it. But just look at us holding on. We're still together, still holding on. Okay, here's that chorus. We're going to play it all twice. It's still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. And then we hit that bottom repeat sign. We do that whole section again. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss. Good night. And then if you wanted to, you can go back and do the whole thing. Looks like do verse 2 and the next chorus and all that stuff. But that's all the notes for the beginner level, which means it's time for the feature of the day.
That's right, and today's voicing of the day is stacked fifths, a half step apart on minor chords.
Yeah. Okay, so stacked fifths. This is how it's gonna work. This is like a really cool. If you have like a minor song, something that ends minor-ish. If that sentence didn't make any sense, the rest of this really isn't going to make any sense. But some of you I know show up for the beginner section, and you really know a lot about chords and stuff too. So anyway, if you got some song that you're writing or that you're learning and it ends on a minor chord, like for example in E minor, what you can do is just play that same exact chord an octave higher. That actually sounds great like that. But what sounds extra special, let's say colorful, flavorful, is if we take all those notes down a half step. So we're just gonna play all these notes right there. Now, you play those two chords together, and that sounds terrible, except that it doesn't. If we play this down here, and we play this up here, that right there, probably out of context, sounds terrible. But let me try this. If I was to play, so here's my song. I don't know. So these are a half step apart. This is also, I think, the chord they use at the end of Pink Panther. So it's kind of that like mystery minor feel, and it's just a minor chord that's a half step apart. It's an E minor chord and an E flat minor chord, both at the same time, stacked on top of each other. If that sounds too far out, just start ripping notes off of the top, and it'll sound more normal. So like this, if we would go, that might sound more normal, or this. That might sound more normal too. So anyway, you can try all of those stacked on top of each other. But anyway, steal the ones off the top if it sounds too far out to add to your minor chords at the end of your songs especially. That has nothing to do with this song though, and some people are waiting to throw the chords in to this song so it can sound more like it sounded at the beginning of the lesson. So let's go to the intermediate version right now. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out, and if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.